Welcome back everyone to another video right here on the digital creative front. I'm Hazard Reborn and today I'm checking out Paragon. As a matter of fact, I've checked this game out already in its closed beta phases twice, and recently just installed it once again so I can check the game out again and actually see what changes they've made. I've seen some things that I like, I've seen some things that I don't like, and I thought that I thought I'd just express my opinions on this video on the go while I'm going through these things, mostly because I was actually going to create a review for this game when it was in a more complete state, but I'm seeing some things that I don't really like, and to be honest, that's kind of got me into thinking that I want to release this video now to get my opinions out there for what I'm seeing here and what I'm not really aligned with. Okay, so first things first, I want to jump into a solo versus AI game, just so I can run around and do pretty much nothing, and just talk a little bit about the game, the gameplay itself, and then I'm going to go into other details. I want to see if I can actually cover this all, the goods, the bads, and everything else that I like or dislike about the game at the moment in its current state. Okay, a new character here, Greystone, which I haven't played with before. For starters, they have actually added the captain's mode into the game. I'm thinking that this is the only kind of mode that is available at the moment. I like the fact that they've actually put captain's mode as the primary way of going about this. The good things about this game so far, first of all, I'm really interested in this game. That's why I want to give my feedback, because it is a game that I was actually looking forward to before even the closed beta phases, and I played the closed beta. I enjoyed it pretty much. I had my notes. Graphics look awesome. Unfortunately, I blew my second card up, so I don't have SLI anymore, and I've tossed the graphics a little bit lower than what they are. See if I can just pop something up a little bit. Let's put post-processing medium. It's creating a blur bullshit, isn't it? But is it also creating tessellation? His attack speed is pretty slow. Anyway, screw post-processing. Let me see lighting epic. What are my frames gonna be with that? And where do we have the frames? I think I turned frames on. Should be able to see the frame rate. Ping 202. How the hell do I turn this shit off? I'm at 38 frames, which is not bad. I mean, it's all this is running pretty much on just one card, which is a pretty old card as well. It's got a GTX 460 68 megabyte VRAM. So if this card can handle it on pretty good graphics, I think anybody can handle it. And it's running at 40 frames, 38, 35 drops at the maximum, 36 right there. Unfortunately, this stupid HUD is not getting out of the way. I don't know how to get rid of the HUD. Is there like a binding for it? General, recall to base, theme comp, scoreboard, chat, taunt, no. Open card shop, no. Cancelability. Didn't I just escape? Anyway. I'm gonna pop the graphics full just so you can see what's about, pretty much. What it looks like. Which is taking me down to 2 frames. The game looks freaking awesome. Animations everywhere, the lighting, the textures. Holy shit, this is really bogging my system down. View distance, effects lowest, except let's do one by one. Effects. It really is the post-processing, isn't it, that's screwing everything up. Yeah. And the textures. Alright, let's drop the textures a little bit lower. Um, 36 frames. It looks okay. 28 now. It's... I have to drop it lower. It's not good enough. Let's pop the lighting a little bit lower. Put that on high as well. Much smoother. The thing is that the lighting is what makes it look so much better as a game. But regardless, it still looks awesome, so this should be able to run with most PCs. I mean, if you're gonna drop all the settings down on low, let's see what that looks like. This is what it looks like, and I'm running on 15 frames. The fuck? 48, 63 frames. So yeah, I've noticed a little bit of a come on, bro. You got this. Oh crap, the graphics look like shit. I mean, they're still better than a lot of other games, but you know. So let's see, is the lighting... Yep, the lighting is pretty much the most important part of making the game look good. And still running at 46 frames. I noticed that it's a little bit more stable than it was in its previous build. That's one thing, but I'm gonna have to go online matches as well to be able to make my, give a better feedback on the actual stability of the game. Graphics look awesome, the game looks awesome, the characters, there's some really kick-ass awesome looking character designs. It's just fucking awesome, and that's one of the things that you really need to actually hit spot on, in my opinion, in order to make one of these games interesting. You know what I mean? I mean, we got so many MOBAs out there and shit like that, so apart from the mechanics that you're actually trying to create, that you have to make interesting in the gameplay itself, the characters have to be good, and the locations that you're playing in have to feel good as well. And for the most part, they've hit all that spot on. I mean, they've got some really kick-ass characters, like that Nazgul tank looking guy that I really like. So for the most part, they're doing a pretty good job. Now for the things that I saw, the first thing that I saw that I really disliked is something that I consider to be a little bit dumbing down. It's the fact that they took out of this the ability for you to select when you're going into a run mode and when you're not. See, I attack and I'm in the walking mode, and I'm going pretty slow as well, which is one of the things that I didn't really enjoy that much about the speed of the game. Even on the other beta, it's a little bit slow for my liking, and even those small differences on the actual speed on some characters are gonna be making the game much more dominating, because it is kind of a first-person shooter. It's a little bit more free than if you compare it to Smite. Smite doesn't have the up and down. This does, and you can have better aiming, especially with ranged characters. So those little speed things on player skill, on a player skill based game, they really are going to make a difference. But anyway, this is all a matter of balancing as well, you might say. Now, what I was saying before was that when you go into attack mode, you're going really slow, like a useless chump. And the problem is that you don't stay in this mode. You go automatically into the running mode, which is faster once you get out of the fighting thing, which kind of like mimics a little bit of an MMO when you get out of the fight state, which I don't like. You used to be able to press shift for run and it got into the running shit. What level am I? Fucking wrecked me. Well, that's what you get for not playing the game and actually making a review on it while you're playing. I'm just going to recall. Obviously this game I'm just going to be explaining things. I really don't like the fact that you have to actually, that it goes automatically into that change, it goes automatically into your running. I preferred it much more when you could select when you would do that, and you couldn't be interrupted by some by minions and some things like that. Now, using the actual speed running thing to jump in and rush into a lane is something that I used to do a lot. No longer possible, and I have to say I don't like it. I don't like it. I find it dumbing down. I find it to be, like the only thing that's actually remaining now as a first-person / third-person game is the fact that your, target reticle can actually go up and down. Everything else is starting to feel more and more dumbed down, like other MOBAs and MMOs, which is pissing me off because I really like this title. I'm really looking forward to its actual final launch, and I have to say I'm not really pleased with this change that I'm seeing here. Okay, let's check this skill out. Huh? Alright. We got a bit of a jump there. Anyway, it's one of the changes that I really didn't like. Now let's talk about the game mechanics. The graphics look good, the characters are pretty awesome. The balancing is something that I'm not even going to bother talking about because it's pretty early and there's going to be a lot of balancing issues. Last beta, for example, the Gideon, I think he's called, the mage, he's fucking OP. I'm thinking that they probably balanced him a little bit out now, but again, like I said, I'm really not looking into reviewing the balancing of the game yet because it is pretty early. It does feel, the movement feels very slow when you're into, look at that, I'm in combat and my movement it just feels so clunky sometimes, and that is something that I really was hoping they would fix. It feels clunkier than it used to, and some characters that are faster, they feel like they have a lot more of an advantage because one of the biggest things that you're actually doing in this game is playing with player skill, of course. And that obviously means, ooh, nice. Yeah. So what's my other? Ah, it's the right. Okay. Oh crap! Look how slow it goes sometimes. It's just really annoying. When you get out of combat, yeah, it's pretty fast, but I don't know. I don't like this whole system the way they've done like this. I would have expected it to. I would prefer if the speed of the game was this. If you're gonna be fucking around with all this running shit here and back and forth. I would much more prefer it, to be honest, if let's see our R. What is my... Ah, it's a passive as well. Ah, yeah, that's my R. And I'm out of here. Pretty good R, actually. So he's pretty tanky and a fighter. I've only landed one last hit, by the way. Ow! You fucking faggot. Yeah, it just feels so slow and cumbersome, which is something that I did not... it's annoying. I mean, Smite feels faster. So up the speed, guys. It's my first feedback on the game. As soon as I jumped in and I saw that I also couldn't actually control the running like I used to. Very annoying. My opinion is if you're going to be playing around with this whole running and slow down business, get rid of the whole running thing altogether and just leave it at this speed. Make it much more player skill based. Now another thing, problem that I noticed on this build is that the European servers I think are not up or something. I've got like 909,000 ping on it. So I'm playing on the American servers with 170 something ping. Obviously I'm in Europe, so I got a larger ping and that's a little bit annoying. Now, other feedback on the actual mechanics of the game for all of you that don't know much about Paragon. Basically, Paragon is a MOBA. It's a third-person MOBA, which is actually a proper third-person shooter MOBA, not like Smite. It has proper aiming. You can aim up and down where you wanna, you know, if you have ranged characters especially. It is a little bit OP in some senses, but the ranged characters are usually much more squishy as well. All I'm saying is that from my experience, all the ranged characters that I played with, I ended up having a lot more efficiency. You know, I was able to pull in a lot more efficiency out of them, except that Nazgul looking guy. And the reason why I like the Nazgul looking guy is because he has a very fast, he has a skill that closes in much faster, and he's able to escape with it as well. So you need to create some kind of mobility for melee characters, and that's, you know, you can probably use this guys. Let me get some last hits, man. Alright. 3 out of 5. I'm almost dead with 14 health there. I'm going to recall back to the base and hope he doesn't come up to me and shoot me down. Alright. What was I saying? Yeah, it's a lot of things going on. I'm playing while I am just unlocked. Spacebar. Alright, let's pop that there. Whatever, bro. Whatever. Let's upgrade our passive again. Anyway, the speed of the game is something that's really annoying me. But it is a proper third person perspective, you know, shooter. It is a little slow. They have some changes that I really don't like that much. The balancing does feel a little bit annoying. It feels cumbersome for the melee classes, and I know that they're balancing it out with giving them more health and stuff like that to make them tankier. But really, I just prefer if you just decrease a little bit on the tankiness, get rid of some of the tankiness, and increase their speed. Make them a little bit more fun to play with, guys, because this feels just so slow. Alright, 4 out of 5 minions. He's dead. Twin Blade, for example, that guy is OP as fuck. Every time I play with him, I wreck shit. Same as Gideon. Someone's locked onto me, great. Ah. It's a teleport from Muriel. Land 5 killing blues and enemies. I hope that this is just like a tutorial thing for the solo. This crap up here. Which is something I wanted to cover on as well and express my opinions on. The heads-up display in this game is freaking abysmal. It's a pile of garbage. I really don't like it. I mean, look how big everything looks, and it looks messy. It looks just so messy. The skills look messy. I mean, it all looks good on paper, like, you know, when you look at it straight away, it doesn't look that bad, but in-game, the way that your eye focuses on things, I don't really have a problem that much on the skills the way they are, you know, white and stuff like that. It's just like the layout of them. You know, you got the R skill in the middle and it's a little bit bigger, and they try to make it look fancy and shit like that. But in the end, it doesn't really help for quick, you know, for quickly progressing and looking at the game, you know, and understanding what you're actually doing properly. Then you have the item slots to the left. You have the 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why they put it like that. I'm guessing because they want to use them on a pad, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 is on a D-pad, which is seriously, you're compromising the heads-up display so you can actually make the game playable on a D-pad, so you can make it make sense on a D-pad. That's just stupid in my opinion. Little things like that I completely disagree with, you know. And you can't choose some things on a heads-up display and make it smaller or something. I mean, you have this you have your power thingy down here and your XP. I feel as if there's a lot of things that are getting in the way, and that's because it is a third-person game, a third-person shooter kind of game. And to be honest, heads-up display annoys me. I'm out of here. The heads-up display annoys me in a lot of games, to be honest, and especially for third-person shooter games. I'm the kind of guy that likes a more minimalistic look, less stuff get in the way, so I can actually properly enjoy the game, as opposed to have to sit there and, you know, climb through all my heads-up displays so I can figure out what the hell is going on. Yeah, this feels a little clunky. It's actually starting to remind me a little bit of World of Warcraft as well, with all this shit all over the place, you know what I mean? I don't know, shrink the map maybe, and shrink that bottom line altogether, just shrink it down, or put it someplace else, because it really isn't helping, especially, you know, it feels really so much in the way. It feels so much in the way. The next thing I want to talk about, the mechanics in this game, the fighting, the balancing and all that, is something that, like I said, I really don't want to go over that much. The thing that I want to talk about was, we have locations like harvester locations and stuff like that. There are some locations where you have creeps, like, you know, like every MOBA out there. What level am I? You mean, see what I mean? I'm trying to figure out. There, I'm level 7. The blue circle at the bottom right. You have to actually sit there and search and find where your level is. Anyway, that's like the least important of it all. Level 8 and blue buff, cooldown, reduction and energy regeneration. Alright, so we have like the buffs in the camps, just like every other game out there, and I've got a silly ball floating around with me now. Hopefully I can kill these guys before they kill me. No? We'll find out soon enough. 98 health, 94 health. Alright. And you have these harvesting pods around here. And there's also this other mechanic somewhere, I can't remember. I want to see if I can capture a harvesting location so you can actually see how you capture it. Like fucking hurt. Friendly tower destroyed. Of course, I am playing all this time. So, okay, the first things I think I covered. I don't like the biggest change that I just saw. The balancing, I'm not even bothering to go into, like I said. I don't like the heads-up display. Some things that the way they've done some of the heads-up display, I still don't like it. I don't see any improvement in it. And okay, so let's get into the next part of it. Like, the basics are just, you know, you got some locations that you capture and shit like that. You got camps that you capture, some buffs, whatever. You know, that's just like, you learn those things in the game. It's just your objectives, your side objectives, to help you actually, you know, control the pace of the match, and to actually help you along the way on actually getting a win in the game. So that's some of the bad things. The good things are the graphics, obviously, character designs and stuff like that. The game feels very slow in my opinion. It should be faster. I was really hoping for a company that is actually, you know, whose biggest fame is pretty much Unreal Tournament. I was expecting something a little bit faster, and, you know, I mean, you're bringing something new to the MOBA scene. Okay, now this kind of speeds and this kind of gameplay, we've experienced it before, and no thanks. You know, bring something different. And I don't want the only different thing about this game to be the graphics and the fact that I can aim up and down. You know what I mean? That's not the only difference that I want in this game. So anyway, I was hoping for a little bit more speed, because that really changes the entire pace of the entire game and how fun it is and how fun it isn't. Another thing I didn't really like about this game going into it was the actual cards and the way that you actually equip your characters, which is the equivalent of items that you would have in a game like Dota 2 or Smite. It's okay in the long run. It's okay because, you know, you collect cards and you create nice builds and you can upgrade your cards, and it's pretty awesome, you know what I mean? All that sounds pretty good, whatever, but I don't know, I think it feels a little bit of it puts a grind into the game, but for something which is actually affecting your performance in the game, and I don't know how much I like that. Because you look at Dota 2, for example, or even League of Legends, you have access to all the items on the go, which means that you can actually start learning the items, you can start learning what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and create builds on the go, as opposed to try to collect cards. And what happens if someone has grinded the shit out of this game and has some really nice ability cards in there that actually allows them to have better builds? At that point you're starting to create an unbalanced kind of system, which I don't know how cool I am with that, you know what I mean? I mean, it's a nice idea with the whole cards and, you know, collect cards, and you got card packs, and it has the whole feel of a card game to it and whatnot. Which, by the way, the whole UI for this is shit. It's retarded. I really don't like the whole card system, the way that you actually pop cards on and off. And they've improved it, but I still don't like it. And you can tell so much this is again created in a shitty kind of manner, so it can actually be played with a controller, you know what I mean? So you can actually select, you know, which one you want, and you press the button that you want to pop it into it, instead of dragging and dropping and shit like that. You know what I mean? Guys, we're on a PC. This is who's gonna play this game with a goddamn controller anyway? I mean, you're boasting third person movement, and, you know, proper target reticles and whatnot, so you can actually aim at them, and then you're compromising the entire design of the game so you can make it playable on controllers. What for? Cross-platforming with Xbox and PlayStation? Who gives a shit? That's just a gimmick, in my opinion, to actually have more sales, and, you know, which is a free-to-play game anyway, more or less. But, you know, I don't know. I just really don't like it. If they want to go down that path, then sure, okay, do it, go for it, but give us an option, give us a selection of how we want to play the game. Create a user interface that is actually for PC, that feels like it's for PC. And if you're playing with a controller, then create also a user interface for switch to user interface that's better accustomed to controllers. It's really that simple. And you can't turn around and tell me, oh yeah, but that's too much development. Too much development? I mean, look at the... I just really don't like it. If they want to go down that path, then sure, okay, do it, go for it, but give us an option, give us a selection of how we want to play the game. Create a user interface that is actually for PC, that feels like it's for PC. And if you're playing with a controller, then create also a user interface for switch to user interface that's better accustomed to controllers. It's really that simple. And you can't turn around and tell me, oh yeah, but that's too much development. Too much development? I mean, look at the design and the detail that they put in all these characters on the stuff. The amount of time that they put in just designing that rock over there is as long as it would take for them to create a secondary design system for PC controls. That's it. The time it took them for one asset is how long it would take them to just do this change. But anyway, the card system, I'm not really 100% cool with it. I have, you know, I'm really kind of enemy harvester placed. Alright, so we destroy the enemy harvesters. Let me show you how this goes as well. And then we harvest those little orange balls. Same thing. So we can actually end up unlocking better cards. And there's a capture symbol up there, which I can't see. There. And in 15 seconds I'll have captured it. The next thing that I wanna probably whine about in this game is going to be the level design. Now the level design, the actual map design, how should I put this? I don't know what they were thinking or what they were going for, but I don't know how much it actually gives you the opportunity to create proper strategies with it. I mean, I've seen some nice videos with people that have learned it. Did I put it? Harvested build. Alright. With some really nice videos with people that have actually learned the jungles and whatnot, and they use it to their advantage. Of course, you'll be able to use it to your advantage. Any kind of level design which is pretty symmetrical like this can be used to a lot of advantage and be able to create a lot of strategies and stuff. But what I didn't like about it is the fact that the ganking ability and stuff like that feels kind of off. Now what I mean with that is that we're talking about a game here that is actually bringing into the MOBA scene one new aspect, which is the vertical aiming. Okay, and this creates 4 advantages and disadvantages on where you can run and where you can't run, where you can go and where you can't go. What do I mean? I mean that in Smite everything is level. For example, I'll take Smite for an example. You can't just walk into like Smite, you can't just walk into, like, you know, the side of the lane from wherever you want here. You have to actually run up ramps and stuff like that. The access to that lane, however, can be accessed from wherever you want, just like in a Smite game. So this whole level, you know, different kind of level formations here really does create for different strategies and whatnot. But what I found about it is that for a third-person shooter game, which that's what it's boasting, and for the whole fact of being able to use levels and, you know, the height as an advantage, I feel as if the middle of the map is at a disadvantage when it comes to trying to gank lanes and whatnot. You can't go behind them that much. You can't use it to your advantage, really. I mean, let's look at their tower over here. There's supposed to be a tower here, but they ate it. Okay. So you have a tower over there. That's the enemy tower, or whoever tower it is, and your only way to get to it is if you have a character that can jump. You can probably jump onto it. Okay, let me see if I can do it with this guy. Yep, you can jump on here. Oh, screw you, man. I'm trying to make a review here. You can get to the tower and attack it from around that area there. Most characters can't jump up there anyway, and if you do jump up there, the tower is going to be able to hit you. So it's a defensive position for the people that are defending the tower, which is pretty good, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, I like that for the defensive games. But how do you form strategies and be able to use the locations to your advantage to gank them and go behind them and stuff like that? You don't, because it's just this area here compared to how far away it is from the actual side lanes, which, by the way, you have to figure out how to work around them, because if you drop down here, I can't go back up there. I have to go around from here and then run back up here and then go from here, and if I want to go around the tower to gank them from behind, I can't go up here. I have to go all the way over there. I mean, you're looking at the entire way that they've done it. It feels as if if you're trying to gank them from the jungle and create those kind of strategies, it feels completely hopeless. Again, I'm probably not explaining this the best way because it's been a while. Come here, you faggot. How slow I am. Jesus. And the speed, I feel as if it's slower even than I remember it. So this is our first tower, okay? And the only 2 ways that you can actually have access to it from the jungle, one of them is from here, which everybody can see you and have an advantage against you. The others from here, again you're lower, they have an advantage against you. Once again, if you're running underneath there, they have an even bigger advantage. If someone is scouting from up here, they pretty much screwed you, especially if they're ranged. You know, they shoot at you, hide, shoot at you, hide, shoot at you, and end of story. So the advantage for the melee characters versus ranged characters in the jungle is really absurd. Okay, and that's your only 2 ways of closing in on this tower, for example. It's from there and from back. Where is it? Back there. That's it. So the whole strategy you can create here is if you want to cut off a character while they're running back, which no character will ever be doing anyway in the first place, and then in the start of the game anyway, because the safest thing to do is to just go by your tower and actually start recalling. Which, how the hell do I cancel? Anyway. So nobody's going to be running around that way anyway for you to try to gank them. That's the first thing. The second thing is that in order for you to get here, you can't come from here. You see, I'm taking this real slow so you can see exactly what I mean. This is the only path. If you go that way, you're going back up. Okay, you're going to the harvester. You go this way, it's the other mobs. The closest direction is this one here, which you can't go onto, and you can only use it from your lane, from this side, from the blue side of the team, for example, which we are now. You can use it to actually get faster into the side lane over here. So it's kind of like more for the defenders, designed more for the defenders than it is for the offenders. Your only way to get to that part there, so you can walk behind them, is from this location here. They can cut you off over there. They can create a lot more strategy. They can cut you off from over there, and your closest, again, route is this one here. Okay, which they can see anyway. Of course, when you jump into these locations here, they can't see you. It's kind of like a bush. So you're coming through here. You have to run all the way up here. You have to come around here. Then you have to go over there. And all that, so you can try to maybe cut them off. Like the whole strategy, because I played it with a couple of friends as well on the beta version. We're trying to formulate strategies with, not exactly with a MOBA intent in mind, but much more with the third person and first person shooter in mind, which we're much more accustomed to, like games like Warframe and all those other games, like, you know, Quakes and Unreal tournaments and all that other shit. Okay, so if you have that kind of idea in mind, the strategy you can formulate here doesn't feel as if it's really that free and you can do much. Now your next tower is here, and again, the only way you can get to it is from down there. Same location. You can defensively go down there and escape, and the only other way to get to it is from behind it up here, which everybody can see you coming up for it. Another thing about the jungle is that it actually it kind of limits the ranged guys, which I would say in a way that, yeah, it's okay, because the ranged guys are probably OP, and if they have a lot of locations where they can aim at you and scout you down and stuff like that, and use open areas to their advantage, that the ranged characters will be really overpowered in this game. But I don't know, I mean, it feels as if it really limits you in the way that you do a lot of things. The whole fact that the jungle goes deep underground, and again, excuse me guys for not giving the best description here. I mean, I had notes written down for the review that I wanted to do. I just couldn't wait anymore, and I just jumped in straight away to make this video because, you know, I'm seeing things that I don't like, and I'm feeling that the game is even slower than I remember. I'm feeling as if they're dumbing some things down. The cards, I'm not seeing any improvement. I'm just seeing it much more improved if you have a controller, and there's things about it that I really don't like, to be honest. Attacking a tower is something that can only be done straight on. You know, I mean, you just run towards the tower to attack it. That's how you take down a tower in this game, which doesn't really leave much space for strategies. All these little nice ramps up here and being able to, you know, use them to your advantage and shit like that, you can't really use them to their advantage. It's much more for the advantage of the defenders. The offense is something that I'm noticing, that, you know, like the jungle, sure, where you're jumping in, and the jungle is not that much again as an offensive location. It's much more as a defensive location where you're trying to run away from them. And while you're in the jungle, I've also noticed that it gets a whole mess of shit happening in there, because it's very tight and very packed, which is something that I really don't like, because we are talking about, again, a third-person game here, and I've noticed that feeling that it's really tight and really crammed, even with melee characters. You know what I mean? The ranged characters, they still have a little bit the same advantage anyway. At the same time, team team matchups, team fights in there are not really helping you in some specific way. Very crammed, and jungles are just, I feel as if the jungling needs to be a little bit more spaced apart and create offensive advantages as well, as opposed to just defensive advantages, because everything that I'm seeing here is just used for a defensive manner mostly, and for getting away from enemies. And when you're actually trying to track them down and you're jumping into the jungle to actually have a team fight, now imagine you got 3-4 guys in here for a team fight. It's freaking crammed as shit, you know what I mean? And there's a little path here, and there's a little path there, and a little path everywhere, you know what I mean? And you can't jump in half the locations. What for? And you're trying to create a whole, this is again an escape route. For a character that could jump up there, let me see if I could jump up there. Woohoo! You could probably use it somehow. But how? It can't be used offensively to just side gank a tower or something. You know what I mean? You look at my dodging speed. That's my left and right. You know what I mean? You look at my dodging speed. That's my left and right. Die, you piece of shit. My dodging ability feels very slow and whatnot. But anyway, one of the things, because I played Dota 2 as well, and Smite, one of the nice things about it there is that you can really use the jungles to your advantage offensively as much as you can defensively. And defensively, to be honest, you can't really use it defensively that much anyway. You can use it to get away, sure, but defensively in the manner that it is done here, where you can just jump off ledges and get out of lanes faster and go hide and stuff like that, it doesn't have things like that in those other games. Now again, I'm going to give another reference to Dota 2. If you look at Dota 2, you can actually access most of their towers from a whole bunch of locations. And some of those, especially if you remember for those of you that played Dota 2, you'll notice that the Dire tower on the safe lane, the second one, you can just jump right onto it straight away through the actual bush, through the jungle. That is an offensive advantage right there. You can formulate a strategy where people push or the minions push and you're hiding into the jungle, and then you gank them and you jump and you all jump in. You can't do shit like that here. Ganking here is it's completely useless and you can't do it. Why? Because if I want to gank them near their tower or at some locations around the towers and whatnot, I have to actually get access to those locations from only 2 spots which they can see me and they can defend against as well. I mean, if they're up here, they can see even better who's running around and who's not running around, because you can see everybody from that location there. You can have a spotter here to warn you, maybe even a sniper or whatever the hell. You got the what's his name, the guy with a nice ranged attack that I used to play. So you can only attack him from there and from there. And the fact that the speed of the game is so slow, it doesn't give you the opportunity to create and formulate a rush tactic gank like you would in other games, where they don't expect you and you all jump in, or you don't expect them and next thing you know you have an entire team, they've all jumped you, and they've taken half your team out because they formulated a good offensive strategy. You can't use a lot of those things to your advantage here, and it feels as if the jungle really, instead of being used as an advantage offensively, it's much more defensive once again. You always have an advantage in the lanes, and one of the biggest reasons, again, like I said before, is because the elevation on the lanes is always higher than the jungle. I would have liked it. That was one of the biggest things that again, with other friends that were playing this game, one of the biggest things that we noticed, which with those guys we've played, do play games like Warframe, like Smite, like Dota 2, League of Legends before that, and a whole bunch of other games. And one of the things that we did notice and we all agreed on was that the jungle would have been a lot better if it was offensively much more impactful. Meaning that when this thing that you see here, where they've created this whole feeling that the jungle is going inside and you're hiding in that shit, was actually used as an elevation. Just swap everything around. Make the jungle an offensive location that it's actually dangerous. Make the jungle something that you can actually be afraid of. I mean, again, I want to take an example, Dota 2, because it is doing the MOBA thing right. Come here, boy. Suck on that. It is doing the MOBA whole thing right. One of the things that you'll notice that in Dota 2 is that you're always afraid of what is going on in the jungle in the locations that you can't see. Why? Because it can be used to your disadvantage. It can be used offensively against you, and that is a good thing. That actually formulates strategy there. Die, you piece of shit. You have to place wards. You have to actually be able to. You have to keep an eye out in your jungle. There can be people in there that are hiding. Let's just add Pudge, for example, and we all that have played Dota 2 know how annoying Pudge is when he's just sitting in his little jungle, he's hiding, and next thing you know, Hook comes out of nowhere and grabs you grabs you from the ass and pulls you into the jungle and starts killing you. Those are offensive strategies that make the jungle a dangerous thing next to the actual lane, to the actual laning phase, and they can be used, of course, defensively, but they're much more of a offensive strategy, and you don't get that here. You don't get that here, so I can't say I really like that. He has a new character, by the way. I really like him. I haven't played with him, but he looks awesome. I want to kill you, you piece of shit. Stop trying to run away. Those are my notes, my basic notes. The card system, I'm feeling is a little bit, I don't know. I really don't like the card system that much, and the biggest reason why is because you're collecting the items. You're basically, again, gonna use reference like playing Smite, and you have to unlock the items that you will be able to buy from your shop. It feels more gimmicky than it does anything else, you know? You know what? You didn't heal me at all, so I'm going back to base. I'm really thinking that they're trying to make a very interesting way of actually, you know, making the jungle affect where you're going to go into the jungle, what part of it you're going to go into. You have to actually have specific locations that you can run in and out of. I understand all that, it's cool, but really, I'm not really 100% a fan of it. I really ain't. Oh my god. Could you walk any slower? They gotta bring this speed into the whole game. This speed here. And I'm assuming that they've slowed it down for console use or for it to be much more accessible. And oh my god. Oh my god. This is so not the speeds and the what I was expecting from this game. I was looking forward to this game so much, and it feels, the speed is one of the biggest things, and the jungle is one of the second biggest things with regards to the actual strategy of this map. If you have more options, I'd be cool for it. Again, make another map, and I'll be able to say, yeah, okay, this is the defensive safe map. This is like a constant safe lane kind of game. You know what I mean? Because that's how it feels. Create an offensive map, and then go into creating a third map as well, that you can actually create a blend of both. You know what I mean? The left lane, for example, will have elevations, and the right lane in the jungles will have elevations upwards, and the other lane will have them downwards. So one side can be the safe lane, and the other side can be the dangerous lane. I don't know, man. It just feels as if like the strategy formation here doesn't feel that dangerous at all. They've never been able to gank me. Never. Not a single time, and I haven't been able to gank anyone either. I mean, yeah, sure, you can use it to your advantage to do a lot of pretty cool shit, because it's the jungle, obviously. There's all these nice little elevations, the way they've done it all over the place. Cool, yeah, I understand that, yeah. They've done great designs, the stage, the map, everything looks awesome. It's just that it ain't offensively a viable design. Okay, so we go from here, we jump down here, we go up here, and all this so I can come to this part of the lane. Anyway, very crowded, very nice design. I mean, I like this whole jungly thing going around and shit like that. It's nice, yeah, but in the actual in its actual use, I don't find a point to it. I don't find a point to it. I don't find it as a viable strategy maker, you know what I mean? Yeah. Victory! That's pretty much a match in Paragon. I keep mixing the name up as well. Character designs look fucking awesome. Gotta give him that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. Pretty much at the moment, I really want to see some changes in pretty much just the speed in the jungle, if they can actually just change it a little bit or something. Those are my thoughts. I find the game to be very slow, the way it is at the moment. Very slow. I really don't know. It ain't doing it for me. At the moment, the way it is, I had high hopes for this game. I still have high hopes for this game. It looks awesome, and even in this slower speed, I think that this probably could still be a title that I will be able to enjoy and have a lot of fun with and play for a lot of hours on that. It has a lot of a grind. I do feel as if the whole card system, where it's decks, cards that you unlock, I've unlocked 102 cards out of 287 cards. So obviously I have like half the capabilities in this item building than other characters would have in the game. Okay, so let's look at this one here, for example, order. Look at the amount of cards that are available and the cards that I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. It even says 4 out of 39 cards. I mean, like, if I want to play an order character, I'm screwed pretty much. So again, the whole card system, it feels a little bit unbalanced. But aside from that, for the most part, I am still liking this game. If I had to rate it now, but it's a beta. I mean, if I had to rate it now, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of good things in it. It's got a lot of things in it that I really don't like as well. 7 out of 10, I'd say. You know what I mean? Like, I find Smite to be much more polished in terms of the strategy you can build and the way that you can actually use lanes and whatnot. If we're going for MOBAs in general, and we can go to MOBAs that are not third person as well, again, I think that even Dota 2 is much more strategic, much better, you know, tactical gameplay that you can actually have there, which is not a good thing for this title. It's not a good thing because this title here offers some mechanics, especially with the aiming and whatnot, and the elevated in the elevated maps, elevation of the maps. It should offer for more tactical gameplay. You know what I mean? So having better, more tactical gameplay polished in those other titles, one of which is a third-person shooter, Smite, but more limited third-person shooter, and the other which is a top-down 2D kind of, like, you know, like a 2.5D kind of game like Dota 2, and having more tactical gameplay in those than you would in this is saying a lot, that they're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people are liking the way that the jungle is and whatnot. I have seen strategies formed. They've never been able to use those strategies against me. They've tried. I don't know, ganking and the safety of the jungle feels very unbalanced, I would say. You know what I mean? It feels too safe. It feels too cumbersome to gank them. It feels it feels very packed and tight in there in most locations for most team fights. And that's pretty much my 2 cents on it. You know what I mean? I feel as if the game overall is got a lot of potential, but I feel that as if it's been dumbed down. You know what I mean? Like the safety from the jungle, plus all the UI controls, plus the speed of the game, I'm really getting a vibe here that they're dumbing the game down quite a bit for console players, and that they're aiming this for a mix-up between consoles and PC users, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Warframe is on consoles as well, it's on Xbox and PlayStation, and if you look at the speed on that, and if you look at the way that it actually handles as a fighting game and as a first-person shooter as well, it kicks ass. And it's very fast paced, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I think that they're mainstreaming it. So those are my opinions, my first opinions that I'm actually publishing, and I'm actually making a video on. Hopefully they'll be able to fix some of these things. I'm really looking forward to some changes to this game. I doubt that they will actually do those changes, because I'm seeing positive feedback from a lot of people in the community as well. They're actually liking the way that this is going. I don't know. I'm probably in the 5% or 10% that disagrees with the direction of this game. It feels too slow. It feels too dumbed down. It feels too mainstream and streamlined. You know, I mean, it feels as if it's just being made much more for easy play as opposed to risk-reward play, and a much more, you know, more complicated kind of dangerous kind of game. You know what I mean? You never get the feeling in this game, another thing, you never get the feeling in this game that, oh, you know what I mean, like, I made some mistakes, this could cost my team, which is something that you would feel in a game like Dota 2. Dota 2, on the other hand, is way too punishing. It punishes you way too much, so I'm not saying make it like Dota 2. Sure, you know, I mean, don't go on that extreme, but make it a little bit more punishing. I mean, here it feels as if, you know, even if I die like 3-4 times at the beginning, who gives a shit, you know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those situations. I really feel as if they're simplifying, they're making a MOBA that's very simplified here and accessible to a lot of people, and that's probably what they were going for anyway to begin with, because, you know, great graphics make it look flashy and whatnot, and they're probably purposefully trying to make it streamlined in a way so they can actually have more people play it. Which, in a business standpoint, it's not a bad idea, because you do want more people to play your game so you can make more money, and that actually does affect the longevity of a game and how successful a game will be. So, you know, as opposed to making it too hard and having a community that's actually, you know, creating matchmaking scenarios where you're waiting for a match to actually start like about 10 minutes so you can find other players to play with. As opposed to that, I guess making it simpler and having more people play it is not really a bad thing either, I guess. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Those are my 2 cents on this game. If you like this Let's Play video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the other videos right here on the channel as well, on the digital creative front. I'm Has Reborn, and I'll see you next time.